So moving on to Excelsius. First I need to let you know that Excelsius has been now renamed as Dashboard. With 4.0, it's going to be called Dashboard, and the tool is called Dashboard Designer to design any of these nice-looking presentation type dashboards. For anything that's new, it's actually, this is the dashboard and data visualization tool that empowers your business users with interactive information in a very attractive dashboard formatting manner. So let me just show you what I've built again from the universe before I jump into the new feature. So what we have here is, as I mentioned before, that we're going to be more easier to get all this information into one single dashboard from your data source. Say if you're monitoring a branch performance. So we're looking at your, we're taking Fremont as an example. The regional manager is going to be logging in, and she's going to be looking at looking at it. So the net profit seems to be dropped. This is again using alert, which could be set to a different as an indicator depending on what your threshold level is. So, and we also have, you see at the top here, I have my slider control, which actually lets me modify what my financial spread is, depending on that, what my profit is going to bear, in case if I want to do some kind of a what-if analysis. So now that I've looked at it and look at my net profit is being down, having all this data handy in one dashboard is definitely going to make things simpler for any person who's going to wants to do analysis of why actually this branch is not doing well. So we kind of have all this data integrated and brought into a single dashboard. It could either be your deposit, or it could be your loan balance, or it could be past due loans and risk. So here I have the ability to actually look at it and see, branch 2 is actually the one probably who's not actually doing really well, and there must be something wrong. Looks like the past due loans is probably greater, and looks like we have a high number of past due loans in the range of 30 to 60 days. So all of this information now in a comparison is being brought together. These branches could be your existing branches, or it could be because of a new merger, or any of those information. Now that we have everything in one place, it's more easier to track and visualize all this data. We can also check and what are the various acquisition rate or retention rate for these branches are, and see that again branch 2 seems to have a lower retention rate, whereas the other areas, and again a lower acquisition rate, but acquisition seems to be pretty much the same. And also the branch activity, in case you want to see, we would be probably looking at the average transactions or your loan applications, and look at branch 1 and branch 2 seems to have the same activity, but probably it's because of the the poor past due loans or any of those details that the net income has been actually low for this particular branch. So adding all of this data in one dashboard in multiple, instead of having to go into multiple places to look at how a branch has been performing, it definitely gives you better insight, and also actually improves your profitability. So now that we've seen, let's see what's new with the dashboard design. And this is being built using Bio 4.0, so this entire dashboard. So let's just look at what actually the new tool brings you. So this is Dashboard Design 4.0. So the main investment actually in dashboard design is the backend technologies. Dashboards actually did not have their own backend platform within the earlier Bio Enterprise environment. It primarily relied on any of the Webby or the Crystal reporting engines for support. But with 4.0, the new engines have been introduced to support any kind of large enterprise deployment, such a way that you can support more number of users for a dashboard. So the particular need definitely came in, as everybody's aware. A lot of queries definitely used to put a lot of stress on the back end. So there was a huge need for SAP to bring this change so that you could have an increased response time to when you're going to be running a dashboard, and especially with business users who want access immediately. It makes definitely performance is definitely one of the key concerns that they do have. So the other features that you see is one of the main new feature, other than the backend technology improvement, is query browser, which you see. As I mentioned earlier in this presentation, we did talk about a common query experience across various tools. So we can connect directly using a query browser to a universe and add a query and bring that data. So you could have to a single universe, you could have multiple, you could have from a single universe, multi-source universe, you can actually build a dashboard, thus bringing all the data together into one single dashboard. So the HAS query actually lets you connect to your. So this is your query panel window. So this is pretty similar to what the Vedi looks. So if you're familiar with how you've been building a query in a Vedi universe, it's the same way. So you would just need to select a universe, and you would need to build your query, and you can actually preview a result and then decide to use that in your particular dashboard. Let me just, so once you've built the query and you've refreshed the results and you think it's fine, you've added your query, you could decide to add your pie chart, for example, here, and then each one of these components now have a query prompt, query data binder added to it. So that way you can decide whether you want to have the data from the spreadsheet or if you want to have data from the query data. So that way it could be your prompts or it could be your data. And any of this data is accessible through these two choices that you have. The other two features that have been added apart from the processing server is also multilingual support. So in case you're building a dashboard which you're actually publishing to global users, and not having to develop each one of these dashboards and modify them, to a different language is probably a pain point, and you don't want to go through the entire process. So with this new feature of multilingual support, you can actually have a dashboard localized by various users. So let me just show you a simple example where I have. Bring it up so that way you see that. So what I've done actually is to the dashboard, I've actually enabled the translation settings here. So that way, the translation settings, this is how you enable your translation settings. And once that's enabled, and you can actually go to the translation management tool, which is a new tool within 4.0, which actually helps you pick the elements, particular elements that you would like to be translated. For this particular demo, I've just picked one of the data elements just for demo purpose. So in this case, I've actually picked, I've used French, and so I just picked this particular element for translation, and you see that it's been translated depending on the user local. So actually, I've already preset my internet options. So you see that I've actually used my language option preference as French here. So depending on what your language preference here, it's going to bring up your results on the particular language, which has already been set in your dashboard and your translation management tool. So that's pretty much the new features again within dashboard. And I think that's pretty much what I have for this demo here.
Thanks, Navi. We are 10 minutes left.